Hey, it's Jason with jams.net. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm with my 2003 Chevy Silverado. I bought this Silverado brand new 21 years ago. I have close to 300,000 miles on it, and this Silverado gets a lot of use. I haul a lot of things with it. I tow a lot of things with it, and it's really handy with projects around the building and around my house that we do for this YouTube channel and others. What I will tell you is I don't baby this truck at all. In fact, 15 years ago, maybe even longer, I had a little bit of a fender bender in the front. I hit somebody. They kind of cut me off. Long story short, the zip ties are still holding the grill in pretty good. And, aesthetically, there's dents and dings and all of that good stuff. But this is a 21-year-old truck, and it is being used like a truck. However, I have AC in it. I do fairly long drives with it. When I go pick up gas pumps or something for the YouTube channel, wouldn't it be cool to have some modern day amenities like Android Auto? Yes, it would be. And that's why I'm going to be installing the LinknDriveDash Android Auto device. Stay tuned and I'll show you how it works. First, I would like to say thank you so much, LinknDriveDash, for sending this to me to test out. This device is a little bit different than the other devices that I've installed. And the reason why I'm picking to do it on this truck is because the screen's a little bit bigger. I have plenty of dash space for that. But also, it can be standalone for audio, meaning you could run it through an auxiliary input. You can run it through FM radio channel to basically emulate it, or you can just have the audio blasted out of this device. And for a truck like this that frankly has 2 speakers, and even if I upgraded them, they would be okay. I think this would be kind of cool to have and be able to use that functionality because I try to keep all of my vehicles in my car collection completely stock and standard. This application would be fantastic for antique vehicles that may not even have a radio because it has speakers built in, or for even applications like a golf cart or a UTV or something like that. Endless amounts. This has wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. It has multiple input ports. It has voice command. It has a built-in dash camera. It's powered by the cigarette lighter, and it also adapts to basically all models. So this is a sponsored video. You've seen me install these anywhere on Land Rovers, to Fiats, to a plethora of vehicles. Now, we're going to install one on the 03 Silverado. Let's unpackage the box and see what's inside. Okay, so let's begin to unpackage this device and let's see what it is all about. This is the LinknDrive wireless portable car stereo. And you're going to see me do the unboxing for the second time. I kind of took a peek already, but we won't tell anybody that, right? So you're going to get all of your typical installation, scan for tutorial videos, step-by-step how to mount it. And when I talked about multiple ways that you can have the audio play to, extend on that a little bit, you can see that you have native audio. All sounds come from the device itself, auxiliary audio, FM audio, or Bluetooth audio. So you get lots of nice ways. This 03 Silverado, like a lot of older vehicles, it doesn't have an aux input. So I'll either do native audio or FM audio, depending on what I like. And of course, this is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So when I take my Android phone to any car in my car collection with one of these devices, it just works. So outside the instructions, you get the screen. You can see this is a pretty hardy screen. It has the built-in camera. It has the speaker built in. And, from a size perspective, this is an Android Pixel 8 phone. You can kind of get a sense. It's definitely larger. So you probably want to make sure you have adequate space to put this in your vehicle. Some of the other ones are probably an inch shorter, so they don't go as high. Let me lay this down carefully here. They give you all kinds of extra components that you will need. You have the cigarette charging port, it looks like. And then you have this one as well. So they're giving you one with extra USB ports and everything. So it's going to take it and you get a ton of extra ports, so that's kind of nice. You're getting this guy here as well. You're getting a cable. It looks like a USB-C cable. You are getting various bits for the install, like a magnet looking one. You're getting the pads to hook it to the glass. This looks like this is one that will go on the dash. You're getting one that will actually go on the windshield via suction. You're getting one here that's kind of long. So boy, they give you plenty of ways that you can mount this. And then you're getting here a reverse camera. Now I'm probably not going to use the reverse camera on this truck, so this camera might just stay in the box. And then you're getting the auxiliary input as well. Lots of good stuff, and they really thought about different installations and what you might need to mount it. So kudos to LinknDriveDash. So for an install perspective, you can do a dashboard mount. You can use the long arm with a suction cup or adhesive base to your dashboard, a windshield mount. So they give you multiple ways that you can mount it. Then it just kind of hops into how you want to run your power. And then it spins most of the next instructions on how to actually use the device, CarPlay and Android Auto. And then optional is the camera. And this, again, you would tap into the reverse light, so when you put it in reverse, it would go to the camera. We're not going to use the reverse camera. We're going to use the driving camera, though. So they're not going to give you a ton of information on how to install it, but, you know, every vehicle is different, so I get it. But let's go ahead and figure out what install bracket we want to use on this Silverado. So I want to take a moment and talk about the power options. This is the standard cable they give. It's extra long. You plug it into your cigarette light adapter or port, and you plug it into the back. It's a USB-C into the back of the device. On top of this, they also gave me this guy, which you can plug into the cigarette adapter, and it gives you a 66 watt and a 3.1 amp USB port and a Type-C, and then it has this extender, like you can clip this somewhere and you can run more off of this. So that's kind of nice if you have an install where you want to maybe run this to the glove box, and then in the glove box you want to run a cable or something like that. So years ago I had an XM satellite radio, or I guess it was Sirius, and you can see where that's stuck. So I'm going to clean this off, and I'm going to actually use this bracket on the device, and it has the adhesive mount, and I'm going to have this physically mounted just like that, so it will kind of cover up a little bit of the grime, and then I'll run my power along the back and plug it in. So you want to make sure, if you're using an adhesive mount, or even if you're using a windshield mount, that the surface is clean. So I'm going to get some cleaner on here. I'm going to get a little bit of this gunk off as well, and then we'll physically mount this guy. In the event the adhesive doesn't stay, I could use one of the other mounts, but I think it will be okay. So I used a little bit of spray goof off just to get a lot of that adhesive that was off. Evidently I drilled 2 holes for the old mount, and this black you see is just where these old dashes, they start to pill and get nasty. So if a hole lines up, I might repurpose one of these holes for this guy. But you can see here, all that adhesive is basically off. If I keep rubbing, it's just going to be more the dash coming off. So let's go ahead and get it mounted. So this is how I want it to sit, just like so. And the adhesive they gives you that really nice long piece to pull off the bottom. I could sink some screws through here if I wanted to. I'm going to see how this holds up, I think, first, before I do that. But what I want to do is, I'm going to take the screen off the device, I'm just trying to think if I want to put a screw or two through here, and I think I might. I mean, I have the holes. So I think I'm going to get my screw gun and or my screwdriver and see if I can't get a screw in there or two. Now, this is not a step you will probably need to do, but this is a 4x4 truck, and at one point it already had holes in it. And I basically am just trying to mark right where the holes are so I can drill some guide holes through the plastic thing. So I'm just taking this and I'm just basically gonna push right through. So now I have 2 holes on the back of this that will basically act as my guide to drill holes on the back of this to get my screws in. Again, not a step that's required. I'm doing it along with the adhesive tape because I don't want that bad boy jumping when I'm off-road. And I already had the holes there from another application of a Sirius radio 20 years ago. So basically, I'm just using this paper just to give me an idea of where to put my holes and to make sure that they're not going to line up or not going to be anywhere I don't want them. Like I know this one on the back, I need to come up a little bit here. So that's really good back there, and that's good there. And I can take this and I can mark where I want those holes. But looking at this, I can already tell it's going to be an issue because that's going to come up through there. I don't particularly want that to happen. I need it to span more. So that's why I always want to mark, because I know this one's going to have to come at least to right there. So those holes are not going to line up how I want, but I can definitely get one in it. And I can easily get this one in the back in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the one hole because that's going to give me a little extra, because I don't want to put any more holes in the dash, and the current holes cannot span the width of these screws, but that's okay. One is better than nothing. Let me get something to lay down here. So since it's going to be facing me this way, I'm going to use this back hole, and I'm just going to try to get me a little guide hole going through this. That's really all you need, a nice little clean hole. So that's going to give me a lot more leverage when I go to mount this. Okay, so I have the guide hole drilled, which means, and I'm going to use this little tiny black screw here, just a standard 1-inch. You don't want to use anything too long if you do something like this, because you don't want to hit your radio or anything. It will basically go through the guide hole, and then I would line it up really nicely with the hole in the back there and screw it down. But before I do that, I want to adhere this sticky 3M stuff to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the back off of this side. This is super sticky. It's almost like gel-like. And then it's going to go, I'm going to basically apply it and then pull this side off and then stick it down. That's the game plan. But I got to make sure I also have my screw kind of driven in here, because that's going to be how I guide where I put it. Come back. So I have my screw kind of coming through. So when I begin to lay it, I'll look for that hole, find it, and then push it down. And then when I push it down, then I'll screw it. So you can see I have it hooked to the back here. And then I can peel off that side. And now I can take this, and I already put that screw through a little bit, so I know exactly where it's going to go. I can lay that down. Oh my God, that is tight even without a screw. I bet you I just overkill with the screw, but again, I had the hole, so use it. Now I'm just going to drive this screw in, and then just really push all of this down super, super tight. Man, that's perfect. I'll tell you that. That tape isn't going anywhere. I was okay using the tape because I already had dash issues and I had holes and something was already there, so I wasn't stressed out. Now, if this was one of my brand new vehicles, new to me anyways, I would have probably used the suction mount. So this is why LinknDash, or LinknDrive, I think it is, right? They give you so many. LinknDriveDash gives you so many different ways to mount it. That's far superior to the other brands. They usually give you like one way, maybe two ways. And then the screen, I'll loosen this in the back a little bit. And I'm going to mount this now, and then we'll run the power and everything. But it basically is a pretty easy mount. It just pops on like so. Tighten that up. You get a little bit of tilting action, so that's a bonus, a plus. Tilt it towards me a little bit. Make sure my screw back here is nice, and it is. I'm just driving it in a little bit more, that's all, because I had a little bit more clearance. I can put it in. Okay. That's it. Thumbs up on that. Thumbs up on that. That looks good. Okay, so my next step is going to be power. I'm using the cigarette lighter adapter, and they give you plenty of cable to run. I'm going to go straight down the back, follow the windshield line, loop in, put my excess in an access panel I have, run the tight wire under the dash up to the cigarette lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on that side. I'm going to plug this in. Actually, I should keep it unplugged. I'm going to kind of keep it slightly unplugged, but just where it needs to go. They did not supply zip ties, so I'm going to give me some zip ties to run this, but let's hop over to the other side. So the way I'm going to run this, I'm going to have the cable go down. It would just sit in here, follow this, come this side. In this access panel, I'll tuck excess, and then I'll just zip tie it below. This is a work truck, so you get a lot more access at the bottom, so I can just zip tie it in the back and then run it over. So let me go ahead and begin doing that, and then I'll show you what this looks like. So I'm making really good progress on the 03 Silverado with the LinknDriveDash. Let's take a peek at what I've done here. So the wire just very easily went to the back, fit all the way in those grooves. It fit nice and tight back here, so it's going to keep it secure. A little bit of exposure here, but that's okay. That typically is the case on cars. And then it hides back here. Just a little bit of excess is all I had when it was all said and done. That's it. I'll just take that and tuck in here. Most cars have a fuse panel or some type of access panel there. If not, you can tuck it underneath. And since this is a work truck, it had plenty of anchor points, so the wire just runs here. It does not impede functionality of anything. It's zip tied again right around here. You can see there's a metal hole under this metal. It's zip tied right there as well. And I kept some slack because I didn't want to be too tight, so I could pull it out and move it. So that is the actual install of it thus far. Let's plug it up and play with it and see how it works. And you can see that panel just pops right back in, so super clean. Quick tip, if you watch any of my other dash cam install videos, get you a plastic spatula. It's a putty knife, and it allows you to kind of stretch things and get in there and hide cable without scratching anything up. Okay, so this is the first boot. I am plugging the cigarette lighter adapter in. I am removing that LinknDriveDash. Welcome to boot. Next. So it wants me to select my UTZ time zone. I believe I'm UTZ -5. Is that even an option? Yeah. Okay. Select the current time. Today is July 20th, 2024, 1:18 p.m. Okay. Slide left half screen up and down to adjust the brightness. Swipe left to switch preview. Slide to the right half up and down to adjust the brightness. Okay, well, I'm pretty happy with this brightness. The guidance is completed. Welcome to use. Now, these devices are made in China, so you see some weird things like welcome to use being used. I am going to configure this on Android Auto. Search your Android phone for this device. And I've installed, this is the third one I've installed. And they all have similarities. It's like they all kind of share some of the engineering and whatnot in China. So I'm just looking for this device, pair a new device. I'm looking for QCKJ. Okay, so you can see it has hooked to my phone absolutely perfectly. Now I want to test a few things here. One, let's say we want to go to Monster Mini Golf. I'm curious to see how this audio sounds.
Head south toward Rodcase Road.
So it's a little light. Let's go ahead and exit this real quick. So let's go to audio. And let's go to FM audio. And it says go to 90, channel 90. So I am at about 89.9. And then go back. So now it's coming through my radio speakers. So let's go to Pandora. And let's see here how this sounds. Sounds pretty good to me. So that is using the Bluetooth or the FM. The speakers built in. So let's just go back to native. Cut that off. Go back to Android Auto, play it. So you're definitely gonna get a lighter.
I go back and change the song.
That's as loud as it will get. So you're definitely not getting anything significant out of the device. So whenever you do this, this is like the old school way of doing it, right? It's definitely going to make sure if you go through some areas and something starts picking up on 87.7, you know, it's going to no doubt possibly start picking that up and giving you some interference. See, the audio is pretty darn solid coming through this. Let's look at some more features on this. Let's take a peek at the camera here. So I'm going to exit out. This has two screens, your Android Auto or your CarPlay screen. And then, of course, your different settings on the device. So let's go to video. Coding, rear camera I have off. Sound recording is on. I'm going to cut that off. I don't need that. Brightness. I'm going to go to auto brightness. Let's go back to settings. Video. You got that there. App downloads. So let's see what this is all about. I'm not too sure what this is. I think this is where it will let you stream like off of your phone and whatnot. So I'm gonna pull this up and see. This is the road cam. Pretty poor reviews, but let's install it and see what it's all about. It's evidently to let us record or manage the camera. So let me cue this up. I'm just going through here and device. Well, I kind of like it. It lets you actually control the camera. So like I'm recording now and you can see everything in front of me. You can go to video and you can see all the videos on here. So this is a benefit over the other one I installed, the other Chinese one in the, what car did I put that in? The Fiat. You had to like physically pull the memory stick. So this is kind of a nice touch that you can control the camera through your phone. I do like that. So back in Android Auto, you get all the functionality that you would typically get with Android Auto, right? Basically the apps that are available on your phone will show up here. You could go on, you could listen to your podcast. So I'm a big Spike's Car Radio fan. You can see here, back here, Shaving Brothers.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Roan. You know what the hardest part of summer vacation is? Finding what to wear. Most stuff is uncomfortable and tight, never your size, and you're on the airplane or you're in the...
So you get all the functionality that you would kind of expect. So easy. And like I say, the reason why I love this thing, because this phone powers my 2007 Land Rover, my 2023 Ford Maverick, my 2012 Fiat. It powers this 2003 Silverado now. It powers a 1991 Chevrolet G20 conversion van. They all have screens like this. Now, my impressions, though, LinknDriveDash, I like the screen size if your windshield can accommodate it. It is a rather large one, as you can see. But the one I put in the Fiat was so small, but the Fiat small was kind of a pain to see things. So you get everything you would want in here. Apple CarPlay I don't use, but however, my wife connects to it, and that's another great thing. She can connect in the Land Rover to our CarPlay, and mine's Android, and we're all good to go. And if you go into Fires, that's just going to show some of the videos that it's recorded. Okay, so what's my final thought installing this on the 2003 Silverado? It feels just like Android Auto on my 2023 pickup. It was very easy to install, and I do appreciate the built-in speaker. I really like the camera on this because I can access it and control it via my phone. Some of the other Chinese version drives and dash cams and Android and Apple CarPlay screens, they don't let you pull the memory stick, kind of a pain if you were to get in an accident. So I would absolutely give LinknDriveDash an absolute thumbs up. I liked it. I've installed these in my 91 Chevy conversion van. It had an upgraded head unit, so I used aux input. I have it in a 2007 Land Rover Range Rover. I have one in my 2012 Fiat, and now I got one here in the 2003 Silverado. I really like keeping cars in my car collection as stock as can be. This already had mounting holes from a previous device, so I was able to really secure it for off-road purposes. But my point is I can keep the head unit that came with this truck in it. So that way in 15 years, maybe I'll restore this truck and it won't just be a work truck anymore, and I'll be able to have the original radio. Again, this is Jason with Jams.net. Cars, DIY adventures, that's what you're going to find on our YouTube channel. Videos like this and beyond. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we hope you give us a subscribe. But more importantly, I hope you found this video useful. Details below, including how to purchase this. Thumbs up from Jams.net on the LinknDriveDash cam and Android Auto device.
And it's great.
radiator head unit on this truck.